Hey, welcome to this episode of the Movement Mentality Podcast. I am so excited to introduce to you all my friend Gil, who I met in Chicago, which is wild because I only lived there for 1 year. And now she lives in Arizona, and we get to be like bestie workout friends and have like a long history together and like share a lot of the same passions. We both have a daughter named Maddie, which is super cool. Um, so, Gil, welcome to the show.
Hello. Very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're so welcome.
It is pretty crazy. Like I have to say, like both having daughters named Maddie as well as having two girls too. So it's
Yes,
pretty.
two
Girl mom life is
girls.
amazing. It's amazing.
I heard now that it's out that I'm having a boy, everyone's like, "Oh, so like, do you know what's gonna happen to your life now?" And I'm like, I'm getting a lot of that, like girls play coloring with their coloring books and like Barbies, and they're like, oh, and and then boys are like climbing on top of a roof with scissors, and you're just like, the crazy stories I'm hearing is like, you just don't know the difference because you don't have boys, so you don't realize how crazy it is. And
Totally.
now when I like see my girls, I'm like, you know what, I think we have it better than I know, because right in this moment it feels very hard. um
Mm-hmm.
Ryan's renovating one of our bathrooms, and so I'm taking the kids like 100% of the time right now.
Yep.
And it's like, well, they're in school, but I mean outside, it's just like, whew. um Anyways, I know you
Well,
get it.
I think it's so great that you're having a boy. One, I remember talking even before you knew, talking about this pregnancy. You're like, it's so different. You're like, I wonder if it's going to be a boy. Like in my gut, it's telling me that. So when I saw your post, I was like, yes. But I do think it's gonna be great. He'll add a nice like balancing act to the whole, family dynamic. Since you got your two girls, like I saw your post the other day about like them being in tutus on their way to like dance or gymnastics or whatever it was, and I was like, yes, just get a little more, get a little more of that masculine energy into the
Yeah,
mix, right?
dirty. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
but
football, baseball, like I don't know.
I think the thing that makes you and Ryan so great, like with like your family dynamic. I remember a while ago you were talking about, you're like, I wish that we lived in an area where the girls could get dirty, right? But like you guys have such a great play space in your house. Like Ryan built that whole like jungle gym setup, and I feel like that is a great space for boys and girls to be playing in on a regular basis. So you're gonna have these three very like active children.
Yes, this is very true. This is very true. Like when I go to the playground and stuff, I see, my 5-year-old just go across monkey bars like they're nothing, right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
other kids are like struggling.
Yeah.
No judgment. It's more of, oh, you are what you repeatedly do.
Yes.
And most
Yes.
people don't have monkey bars in their house.
No.
So, like, why would a
No.
child have so many reps of that? You know what I mean? And it was just like, wow, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I just love that you guys just did that. Like that was something that like you and Ryan were like, yeah, we got this space. Like let's get creative.
Why
And
keep it normal? And like, what? So boring.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing. But like for those who have never been there, I mean, you guys have like a net hanging from the ceiling. You have monkey bars. You have a climbing wall. Do you have a rope? Like I
There's a
forget if you had
rope.
like a climbing rope
There's a
too.
rope to get into the net, a wiggly ladder to get into the net, stall bars for adults and children, both,
Yes,
muscle rings for adults and children, both,
perfect.
a ladder to the monkey bars. So it's kind of like, okay, cool. It's the theater room, but if you're gonna be in there,
Mm-hmm.
might as well be hanging on something or swinging, or
It's a multi-purpose room. I get it.
it's a multi-purpose family room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's carpeted too, so it's very cushy for the littles. So I get it. I get
Yes.
it.
Oh my gosh. And we just put a twin mattress under the climbing wall
Oh, that makes sense.
just to
That makes
be
sense.
there, just 100% of the time. And it's so nice.
Yeah.
It's like, fall, go ahead. Fall. I'll
That's
be
what
over
they're
here.
supposed to do. Not only get
Yeah.
dirty, but they're supposed to fall and hurt
Fall.
themselves and things like
Yeah.
that. So learn from that. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So what's really cool about being able to bring you on the show is I actually got to work with you, and I don't know if you felt any of this, but I was nervous just from a vibe, energy, friendship perspective, because when you step into professional world with a
Hmm.
friend, it can be scary. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where you're like, I didn't know they taught like that, or her course kind of sucks, but I like her. She
Yeah.
tried. Like like you got into my mentorship. I hired you for movement and stuff, and then I was like, okay, I hope this goes well. Now we're like we live in the same area. Like I was just like cuz I don't you don't really know how it's going to go
No.
down. And honestly, Gil, it's just been so incredible. Like I would get off our calls and be like, I could cry. Honestly, I was like, Ryan, she's like a really freaking good coach.
Oh, that is so
And I
nice
was
to hear.
so relieved.
Well, again, like, it's one thing to work with someone who is not a movement professional, but then to work with someone who is your peer, that is a whole level of like pressure, right? Not only for you, the participant, but for me, the coach too. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whew. I was like, Missy's got her following. She knows her stuff, you know. I was
Yeah.
like, we're gonna have to, like, and the thing that I had to remind myself of too is like, hey, like, we're not doing bells and whistles. We're doing the work, at the end of the day. Like, she is the client. What are her needs? How does she move? And let's try to hit those goals as best we can.
That
Um,
is such a good point, though. I was only
mhm.
thinking about it from my perspective because that's what brains do. And then you
Yes.
just show, well, you're like, well, I had a thing of coaching a coach.
Yeah.
So that's that's a thing.
Yes.
That's probably
Yes.
harder to be honest, right? That like on your end because you're like, okay, and wanting to hit my goals and I wanted to be very clienty
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
with you. Like I was like, no, I am a student. Like I don't want to think. I just want to be told what to do. Don't even like so I hope it came across that way of like
Yes, it did.
I want to
You
be
were
a
an amazing
client.
student. You were an amazing student.
Thank you. I mean, okay, you guys, like I'm 40, okay? I've never counted macros in my life. It's like the only thing I've never done, which was a whole I mean, I've done keto, paleo. I was a pescatarian for 7 years. I mean, I've done all kinds of things, right? And here's the funny thing is they all work.
Hmm.
Um until they don't or
Until they
whatever.
don't.
Until they
Right.
don't and all the things. And I always thought macro counting was restrictive. I thought it was restrictive. And
Hmm.
then we did it, and I was like, this is the opposite of restrictive. The stuff I had done, keto, paleo, all that, that's restrictive because you can't have
Hmm. 100%.
25 things. These are all the things you cannot consume. Whole 30. Like I did Whole 30 for 4 weeks postpartum with my last baby. I lost 10 pounds. It was great. But like, how do you not eat a grain for the rest of your life? First of all, I'm Filipino. Okay. Rice. It's like that's in
Yes.
my like DNA. Okay. Not that I eat it a lot, but I'm just saying, like, how do you can't have
Well,
grains, whatever.
you want to live like a person, right? Like at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you want to food has an emotional attachment to it, and
Yeah.
for many, whether it's culture or it's a soothing mechanism, and that can be a pro and a con depending on the situation and the person and your, history with food. But at the end of the day, like you really want to find a system, a lifestyle that is going to work for you. And sometimes it has to change and evolve with you as you change and evolve,
Yeah.
And for instance, let's just say, or let's just talk about like when you came to me, you were like, hey, I'm turning 40. I know I'm going to have another baby here soon, but before then, let's focus on some aesthetic goals, and you gave me those aesthetic goals and I'm like, all right, let's put some macros together, let's put a program together that works based off of you and where you're at. And one of the things that, like, we had to take into consideration is, you have your other classes that you like to take, you get your steps in, you hike, you are a busy mama working full time. So, like, you don't have a lot of expendable time. So we
Mm-mm.
had to make those workouts short and sweet. We also, one of the things that we talked about a lot with you is like, you were like, I don't like being on my phone sitting there trying to track everything in front of my kids. Like, we have to make it as user friendly as possible. And we did that. And then midway through, you're like, guess what? I'm pregnant.
Yeah,
And I
literally,
was
I was
like,
like,
all right, so the variables change now a little bit. The goals are going to
the
change,
goals are
you know?
different. Yeah. Which is
So,
wild. It was just like the funniest thing. I was like, I'm putting her through the ringer. I'm like, I want to look as aesthetically pleasing as possible for my 40th. Just kidding, I'm pregnant. So, it's just like the polar opposite goals. Um, but I'll never forget, I was sitting at a breakfast with a group of girls and I was like, yeah, I'm macro counting. Like, I love it. And all my friends were just like silent. And I could just feel it. And then one of my friends who was a little more bold, she was like, so that gives me a lot of anxiety. And I
what?
was like thinking, and I said, I think you think about it the way I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, do you have like a scale? And I was like, yes. And again, I think it's the opposite of what you think. It's actually to eat enough. And she was like, huh? And I'm like, no, no, the scale is so you eat enough,
Yeah.
not to restrict the thing. Cause I was, even the other day, like I kind of know the macros now, but now I'm pregnant, so whatever. But I'm like, yeah, this is probably 4 ounces of chicken. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just double check this. And it was like 2.6. And I was like,
Yeah.
if
And
you think something's 4 and it's 2
well,
for a week, for a
it's
month, that's a big difference.
the big difference. And I think a lot of people, particularly women, I think, tend to think like they need to restrict in order to lose or to reach those certain aesthetic goals. And 9 times out of 10, most women, most people in general, are not eating enough. They're not eating enough
That's
of
what
the
I'm
right
saying.
macros. And that's where the tracking can be really helpful of painting a better picture for you of like what you're actually consuming. And to your point, like it's
Yes.
not about taking away, it's
No, it
about
was to
adding.
hit the
Yeah.
number. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had already been doing it with you for like, and I was just like, that hitting 4 ounces of chicken looked different than what I thought in my head, right? It was like I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't getting enough. So it's just it was such an interesting process. And then I'll never forget too, I texted you this day because I was like, I'm going to eat deep dish pizza tonight. And I'm so excited because I could lead up to it and hit my numbers. So it's like it's the weirdest, most non restrictive thing because you can still eat anything you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as the numbers are hit.
Well,
So
and
then it's like,
and
cool.
every person's different, depending on their background with food, diet, culture, all of that. Like you
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
being as millennials, I think there is a lot of diet culture that comes from like our upbringing of like
Hmm.
fat free, sugar free, like low fat, whatever, and some of those things are fine here and there, but like ultimately like, I think a lot of the um, disordered kind of way of eating, people tend to think is like, in order for me to hit those aesthetic goals, I have to eat less. I have to eat in a specific deficit in order to obtain those goals, which to a certain extent is true, but most people are not doing it the right way, and they're not tracking, and they don't even know where they're at currently or what they need to eat in order to maintain the weight that they're at currently, or performance, whatever the case, whatever the goals may be. But like macro tracking is going to be your best friend, and it can work within whatever food culture you may have. So like if you're
Mm.
someone that's gluten free or
Hmm.
dairy free, like that can fit within macros. You don't
Hmm.
have to eat those things in order to hit a certain fat, protein, and carbohydrate amount. Whereas like other diets, like you mentioned, like it's all about restricting or cutting out completely. And ultimately, that's just not feasible because you, as a person, are constantly changing and evolving. The goals are always going to change, whether it's in a couple of years, 5 years, a few months, like whatever the case may be.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, two
Yeah,
weeks, right?
whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. And like but like the best form of like, I think getting results ultimately is in and staying consistent with those results is macro tracking.
Wild. Like
Yeah.
absolutely mind blowing. I'm like,
Yeah.
how did I go 40 years of my life hearing about it, having a perception of it, and being like,
Hmm.
that's not for me.
Well, and I
Like,
have to
and
say
I
for
just the word, like, if
just
you say macro, no, that's not for me.
well, and I think a lot of
Like,
people, and it's true, like they hear it and they go, "Ugh, well, that sounds like homework. I don't really want homework. And I get that. Like I don't want to have a lot of extra work on top of the responsibilities that I already have. And for those of you who don't know, again, like I have two girls, they're 5 and 18 months.
breastfeeding.
I'm breastfeeding still. I am very active. The idea of like, I'm already taking on a few clients and working on their programs, their nutrition plan. So to like do something like that for me, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But ultimately, one of the phrases that I use a lot with clients is, if you fail to plan, plan to fail. And so if you have something that you really want to hit, you really want to be able to perform and do, you need to understand where you're at in terms of what you're eating and how it's going to fuel you and help you meet your goals at the end of the day. But
Mm-hmm.
that starts with a little bit of homework. Like you have to, you have to do the work in order to
It's
kind of make
just
it your
like a
new norm.
small, yeah, it's like a small learning curve on like how to use an app of your choice. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of my friends use all kinds of different tracking apps, like my
Hmm.
Fitness Pal, Carb something, another one. That part's annoying because you're like, I have to learn this app, but that's really it. And it's all just data collecting. Like,
Hmm.
it's like what I do with neuro work and injury rehab stuff. It's like, if you don't respond well to an eye exercise, that's not bad or wrong. It's just data. It's just like, oh,
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Cool.
Totally.
Your body doesn't like that, but I'll teach you a foot wave and your whole nervous system is like, I love my life. And it's like, cool. I just taught
Yep.
a foot wave to someone else and they, their eye twitched and got a migraine or whatever. Like, I don't know. So it's like,
Hmm.
we're all so different and almost like the other end of the low fat era. Like, Ryan and I were in a very like natural fat is good for your brain and like yeah, so we would like load our breakfast with a lot of fat. It would be
Yeah.
like avocado toast with ghee, eggs cooked in coconut oil. Like we would pack it in there on
Hmm.
purpose,
Yeah.
not realizing what a serving of that thing was, right?
Hmm.
So like a ghee serving is half a teaspoon. And then I measured out a half a teaspoon and I was like, okay, I am probably doing 4 times as much. Like, you know what you're just like, that is not necessary to consume that much fat, healthy or not.
But it's delicious, so I
But
understand.
it's
I
delicious. But
understand.
you're like, it's a healthy fat. So there's no reason this could be a bad thing. Anyways, just the whole, we were like, a half a teaspoon? It was like we honestly were probably doing 4 to 5 times that much on one piece of sourdough, just
Hmm.
not realizing
Yeah.
an entire avocado, right? Versus a half of an avocado or a fourth. It's just a really cool experience.
That is really interesting. Like it's funny. I actually have an experience like that. I am a big coffee drinker, and I'm very particular about having half in my coffee, and my coffee has to like be a certain color in the morning. I don't know
Yes,
if you're like
yes.
this at
And
all, but
texture.
yes, texture, and I would like free pour it. And lately, I've been just kind of honing in on my macros a little bit more, understanding just like what it is that I'm consuming, so I understand what I'm hitting. And I was measuring out my half and half, and I was like, oh, this is like I was doing 2 tablespoons, and I was like, this still isn't enough. This still isn't enough, but this is what, like, I gotta just dial it in a little bit, just a little. But like, at the end of the day, like, I think the thing that's fun about like fat, again, if for those of us who are not familiar with what macros are, it's fat, protein, and carbohydrates. And all food is comprised of one or multiple of these. And I like to look at food more as like it's not good or bad. It's just there's food you want to have more frequently and food you want to have less frequently. And I really try to adhere to that too, like with kids, because I don't want them to, I don't want to associate a value with food of like good, bad. Like you as an adult, you know, like, hey, you shouldn't be having candy every day, you know, but like at the same time, like if I'm talking to an adult and they're like, listen, it's just having like a few Sour Patch Kids brings me joy. I'm like, then have the freaking, you know, candy. And I'm not going to deprive my child of that kind of stuff too. But when we're talking about food, the value is not so much good, bad. It's like, you know, it's, hey, it's, or healthy, unhealthy. I don't even like using that terminology sometimes because like any
Same.
food,
Yeah.
even healthy food can be bad if you overdo it, right? Like avocado isn't a great example. It's a great food, but like if you OD on avocado, that's not going to benefit you either in certain ways. But like I'm not gonna, it's avocado, you know, it's Mother
Yeah.
Nature
Yeah.
made. I'm not gonna, you know, get crazy about it. But with macro tracking, like depending on the goals, you know, you tweak the dials on your fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And I think sometimes people tend to think of macro tracking in the bodybuilder standpoint, but it's not just bodybuilders, it's not just power lifters, you know, people who are in it for performance or an aesthetic, like everyday people who are trying to perform a certain way and just feel better. Because there are so many people like who are undernourished, who are not eating enough, and they think they're eating enough. Like to your point where you're like, I think I'm having 4 ounces of chicken, but really it's only two. And they're talking about things like not feeling like they're foggy brained, they don't have energy, you know, they're holding on to weight. And sometimes it's a matter of eating more because your body's like, no, I'm in this deficit and I need to hold on to every calorie that you have because all you're feeding me are like liquid calories or, you know, you're not eating enough protein and you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know until you try it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think ultimately, like going back to like the statement we talked about like, you know, this sounds like a lot of work, sounds like a lot of homework. It is initially, but with any new skill set that you create or that you're trying to get better at, you have to do small incremental change over time in order to
Mm-hmm.
make it more of a lifestyle or a habit that like you don't even have to think about it. It's not homework anymore, you know. And to your point too,
Yeah.
there are lots of different trackers out there, so you can use an app, you can weigh things out, you can measure, you can also use your hand as a guide too. So some people like don't like the numbers game, they're like it's just too much, but like I can be like, hey, you've got X amount of protein you need to hit, and what that looks like is 3 palm-sized portions of protein every day. So whether that's fish, chicken, beef, tofu, whatever it is, that's going to hit you're
Mm-hmm.
going to hit your
Cool.
protein amount. So using your hand as an example, for those of us
Mm-hmm.
who don't like having like, you know, a scale handy, your palm is a good indication of how much protein you should have at every meal. That's usually 4-ish ounces, give or take.
Three of those.
Three to four of those a day, depending on what your protein
Oh, per day. And
per
then
day.
one palm is a
Yeah,
meal.
is
Oh,
the
okay.
protein that you have at the meal.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people like protein's the biggest thing people need to focus on, and generally a good equation is 0.74 times your body weight. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is. I think for me, like it's like minimally I should be hitting like 120-ish grams of protein if I'm doing the math right. I'm not a math whiz. I need to have my calculator in front of me, but right now it's my camera, so I'm not going to be doing it right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that would be like minimal. So protein palm, your fist would be your vegetable here. Cup here would be how much carbohydrate you should have, give or take. So like whether it's rice, potato, just to give you an idea. And then thumb is about a tablespoon. So you can just use your hand as a general indicator of like what portion size, what portion control can look like plate to plate, to
Right.
give
And
you
the
an
thumb is the
idea.
fat.
The thumb is the fat. So that's about a
Yeah.
tablespoon for most
Tablespoon of
people.
fat. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So if you're not watching this video, she's, holding up her palm, showing the size of the palm, then she made a fist for veg size, and then little scoopy scoop in the palm for
Cup in some
carbs.
water or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you're going to drink water out of your palm. I always try to think if I was listening to this, how would I
Yeah, I forget that
hear?
people aren't watching this too. They're
Yeah,
listening.
and then a thumb size is about a tablespoon of fat. So you don't need a scale, you don't need to track. You could just use your hand if you're
Mhm.
more kinesthetic, that whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool. So then since we work together on all that, and then now I'm pregnant and I'm just like we're voice noting each other and I'm like, so what's really funny is now I have no aesthetic goals at all. Um I just want to be supple and mobile and like feel really good and in control of my body. And it's literally the polar opposite of what I had asked Gil to do for me in March. I'm like, I want to be freaking strong. I want to be fit. I want composition, belly button circumference down. Like I was like very like masculine and like I had a goal and a deadline. And now I'm just like, no, no, no. We're preparing for birth.
That's what
Like
I love supple. That is a great
supple.
supple. Mm-hmm.
You know, I have this pelvic floor PT, and she's like, what most women don't realize is like mobility in your ribs,
Yeah.
especially the posterior ribs. You need to have mobile because your belly and pelvis now are so like big and full, and you don't have access to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when you breathe, you're going to need your rib cage during labor,
Yeah.
right? Because it's
Uh-huh.
you're restricted. And I was just like, whoa. And it's like, I feel like I'm not at my most supple.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm 20 weeks. I have 20 weeks to get as supple as possible where you're like, can you touch your elbow here from a half kneeling? And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know, my ribs. Um, because there were some moves, and I was like, I wasn't even pregnant then, and it was hard. When before, before I worked from home and like took clients all day, I could do literally anything anyone asked me to do ever.
Yep.
Right? Like bust out some pistol squats. Great. No problem. I don't have to warm up, right? And then now it's like I'm older. I've been online for 5 years. I've got more weight than I ever have because of my placenta previa issues with my kids. Just the whole it's like I'm a literally different person.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, so it's like we're going to start working together again soon with a
Yeah.
totally different goal, and it's so exciting. And like I said, it's just been so fun because I know I can trust you and say whatever my goal is, and you're like, yeah, and great, fantastic. Like,
Well, and I think it's really good too, like again, like every client, their body is changing, the goals change. Sometimes
mhm.
even in, and you've experienced this, I'm sure too, in sessions with clients, like it's like sometimes like you may have a program or a workout set up, but then you get into it and they're like, oh, like I pulled something or I didn't
Yeah.
sleep well or something's off that makes you go, all right, we got to think on our feet now. We got to think a little
Yeah,
bit more, you know,
always.
and
This
make
is like
adjustments.
90% of the time. Okay? Like
Yes.
when does a
Yes.
plan ever go? I did my first workout during a migraine with you.
Yes. Oh
Like
my gosh.
during
Yes.
an ocular migraine. Like I was like, "Hi, I'm having fireworks in my eyeball." But you know what? I'm 40. I've never tried to do a workout during it. You were
And
like, "You want to try it?" And I was like,
yeah.
"Frig, let's freaking try it." I don't know. I might throw up. I might not. I have no idea what will happen. I
One
know
hundred
what
and
will happen with my protocol. I take a nap. I try to sleep through it. I wake up and eat carbs. Then I'm kind
mhm.
of groggy for a day, whatever. So it's like, screw it. And then it was interesting because it was like I made it through the training and felt kind of normal after. And I didn't take a nap and eat carbs. And I was like,
Well, and if I remember
whoa.
correctly, during the session too, like midway through, you were like, "Oh," like you literally went, "Oh, it's starting to clear now." Like
Like
you
it's
had
going away.
like it kind of like whatever you were experiencing, like the visual like
Yeah.
light effects or whatever. I remember you saying you're like, "It's starting to dissipate. Like I can tell it's going away now." Like, and that was really cool to kind of see. Like I'm not saying like the workout did it, but it's nice to know now you knew in that session. It's like, hey, I can
Yeah.
still do things and wait for that like that
Yeah.
initial like discomfort to subside. We weren't doing anything
Yeah.
crazy, but we were doing some
No,
things to still help you
so
work on what you wanted to work on. So,
yeah, but what a beautiful thing though to feel safe enough to be moving with you while I'm in like a, it's like, it's one embarrassing, it's like inconvenient. I get angry. It's just like you want to be like, why the frick is my body doing this? Like, I am
yeah.
a health professional. Like, it's just like it's so frustrating.
Yes.
And I they used to take me out for like 2.5 days, and I have them all the way down to 20 minutes
Which is
with all the
amazing.
stuff that it's exactly like I should be grateful for where I have them now, and it used to be once a month and now it's like once a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, like my Ryan, my husband, it's like he knows this look I get when I'm like, uh-oh, it's like about to go down, and like we have to get me to safety. I should not be driving. Like it's a whole thing in our
Yeah.
family if I
Yeah.
give the look.
Yeah.
That the migraine's gonna have. Anyways, wow, we're on a way far tangent, but um just been it's been really cool to work with you, and I was just so excited to share you with my community because I think my audience, like my ecosystem, my community, they know I don't, well, first of all, I don't trust that many people. I like I don't just say yes to collaborations with brands and like, what
Yeah.
like I take my name and my associated reputation stuff like seriously because it is serious.
It is serious.
It's like
100%.
yeah, right? Like so I'm like if I tell you this is the matcha I love, like I that means I freaking love it. Like I know they don't have heavy metals. I know that it's a trusted source. That it's what I mean? And so it's like
Mm-hmm.
with you, I have experienced working with you. I'm not just going to like share all of my friends are movement pros. So I
Mm-hmm.
could be like, do this. But it's like, I know that you will take care of someone that's like, hey, I heard about you through Missy. And I'd be like, cool. Like,
Oh,
that's freaking awesome. You're going to
that's
have a
what.
great time.
Well, that's really meaningful. Like, I mean, I very much
Yeah.
respect you as a movement professional and then also as a friend too, and just seeing your growth over time since 2015, 2014, something like that, right? Give or
Yeah. Well, it
take?
depends on where you're talking about the growth started.
Yeah.
But
Well, seeing you and Ryan going from like death of the desk.
oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. That was 2015 when I started filming
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah.
We hadn't even met in person and we were
That's
already filming together.
that's crazy.
It's
But
I love remembering it, like when it comes up and talks like this. Like he said, I say Cossack, but so, I don't know if there's another way to
Cossack,
say it.
Cossack squats.
Cossack,
Yeah. It's like
Cossack or
Pal off or someone. I think
yeah, like
people say it
okay,
differently.
Cossack squat, Cossack squat. I don't. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's a single
Yeah.
leg, whatever. He's like, send me a video of your most advanced version of that, and I will show a modified version. And we had like the same timing, and like put them together like on a video and like post. We had never even met before, and it was just like, here's the advanced version of that, and here's the modified whatever. And yeah, and
I love that. I love
looking
that.
back, like we didn't know what lighting was, microphones, all it's like, and people are like, Missy, you're so lucky. I want to be like, yeah, luck got me here. Luck.
I
I've been
I
filming
I could
for 10 years.
I remember not too long ago, just like a few months back when you hit 200,000 followers, you were like, I was like, that's amazing, and you were like, yeah, everyone's like overnight success story, and you're like, I've been working at this for a while. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like
Like,
my
there's been a
first
lot of
post. Yeah. I looked back and my first post was in 2011.
wow.
And I've been consistently posting since 2011. Consistently.
Well, and
I
I have
took
to
a three
say,
month break once because I was throwing up.
well, I have to say, like, as someone who is, I would say, like, I've been in the coaching sphere for over like
Ever.
15
Yeah.
years, give or take, with different,
Yeah.
different movement styles and stuff. But like the online coaching sphere, I probably only realistically been doing in a serious way the last 3 years, like in a
Yeah.
really more like this is what I want to do. So like
Yeah.
seeing you and Ryan and like what you guys have done and developed over time is very impressive and very cool to see. And it's just it's very the online sphere, as like as I'm sure you can attest to, like when you're starting off, it's like you're like, hello, can anyone hear
Hmm.
me? Am I just talking to myself? It's like, have you seen that viral video of the girl doing like a sad TikTok and she's crying and it's like
No.
what it's like being an online
Oh,
coach
yeah,
and
yeah.
she's like
Just like crying like
she's
this.
like and
Yeah,
I
or
was
yeah, it's
like
like being a personal trainer, but then realizing you have to dance to adults to sell them fitness programs or something. Like, why are we dancing for personal training packages? Like, yeah. It's
yeah.
wild, and another thing people don't realize is like you don't well, I was gonna say you don't get like a bunch of followers every single day, all day, every day for, these come from a couple reels that hit. And then
Mhm.
you wake up and there's like 20,000 followers and you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that happens again and again. But I still have posts go out that reach 4,000 people out of 240.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, right? Like it's not every post is a hit, but you do want to build up that, what I call it is the Spotify playlist.
Mhm.
So when one of your pieces of content hits, the first thing people do is click on your name. They scan your profile for 3 seconds, decide if they like you. And if there's nothing there, you're not going to have a new
Yeah.
community member or follower, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, but if it's full of everything that they just saw you say, and you've been saying it for a long time, it's like, oh, this
Mhm.
person is knowable, likable, and trustable. I will
Yeah.
hit follow. So
Yeah.
it's none of it's wasted, you know? Um, oh, but cool thing to share is like, what had me, one of the moments that had me like, I'm gonna talk to Gil. Gil is the one. Gil's my girl. Cause I was like, who am I going to reach out to for movement stuff? Like I knew I wanted a coach and I have a
Mhm.
girlfriend who I've worked with forever. Um, but she's like busy and I'm busy, whatever. And I just would, and you did like a bunch of chin ups and I was like, fuck.
I
And you do a lot of chin ups. And I was
do.
just like, Ryan, like, how does she do so many chin ups? And he's just like, you have to remember, like, she was doing chin ups before she had babies.
Mhm.
So she's and I'm like,
Dude, can I tell you? Let
I
me
could
let me
do
just
two chin ups before I had babies. And the
let's
second one was really hard.
let's go back in time for a second, back in Chicago when like Ryan had his studio and I remember seeing
Yeah.
Ryan doing chin-ups back in the day and I'm just like, that is so cool. And any of my friends who were movement professionals, I was like, that's something I really want to do. And I'd been practicing. This is like over 10 years ago now. And I'd been
Mm-hmm.
practicing and using different modifications like banded chin-ups, using the assisted
Mm-hmm.
chin-up machine, other types of variations there. And one of my trainer friends was like, have you ever just tried doing one without any assistance? And I was like, no, that sounds scary. And she's like, you should just try. And I was like, okay. And then I did it and I was like, oh my gosh. And that moment, and I'm using this as the example here, like, and not everyone watching this is not gonna be like, I want to start doing chin-ups. But
Yeah.
like, but I will say, like, whatever the performance goal is, whatever the exercise or the one thing that you want to do, whether it's a push-up, a squat, or whatever, like, you gotta just keep practicing, but then also actually practice what you want to do.
What
You
you
know what I
want to
mean?
do. I know.
Like it's so scary, whatever it is, but like and this is what I talk to clients about a lot. It's just like, hey, like, and most of my clients are women, specifically moms, whether it's like a newbie aspiring mom or like a mom who's in the thralls like you and I are right now, where they're like little and we're just like chasing them and we're trying to carve out time for ourselves, or like the seasoned moms that have like the older kids in high school and
Big kids.
college and they
Yeah.
can, but like whatever the goal is, like you got to show up where you're at. You got to have those big lofty goals, but it's like, what are the steps to get there? And like, I know most movement professionals watching this are like, duh, you know,
Yeah.
but it's, I think for people who are interested in movement but just don't know how to start, or they've been moving for a while but they're not hitting the goals that they think they should be at this point. It's like, well, the routine has to change, the prescription, the program has to change, and especially with chin ups, to your point, like I have made it a goal for myself to just do them almost every day. Like, not
Oh
not
my gosh,
not
I would
not
die.
in a way, and that's like that's over the top.
Yeah.
I probably do it 4 to 5 days a week. Like whenever I go to the gym, part of my warm up routine is doing some form of pull, chin up
Mhm.
exercise, because I'm like, I have to fine tune, I have to get better at it. It's like practicing a musical instrument, Like if you want to get good at the guitar, you have to practice on a regular basis, right? So
Yeah.
whatever it is, and there is a thing called overtraining too, and I don't do that. So like if I show up to the gym and I'm like, oh, my energy is low, like I show up where I'm at. And the same goes for clients too. Like to your point of like, you showed up and you had a migraine, coming on. Like we all have to show up where we're at for the day and do the best we can
Mhm.
with what we can do.
Yeah. Cuz
So,
it's very different if you haven't slept all night cuz you're getting kicked in the face by a 2-year-old or you had full sleep. Like you're
oh,
a completely different person. Like right now I'm in a getting kicked in the face phase. We just started sharing their room, the girls,
yeah,
to prepare for new baby, right? So like the girls are going to share so that the baby can get his own nursery and it's like it's not going well. Like
no,
it's taking way longer than I thought it'd be like 2 hard nights. It's been 6 weeks. Okay? Like it's cuz now they're both mobile. But the big one, she's fine. She falls asleep in 5 minutes. The small one, I'm like, oh my god. So like, it's taken. I reached out to you and I was like, okay, I'm getting ready. I think I'm ready. I think I can start, but it takes time. Like you can't force your body to be somewhere that it's not. Like
yeah,
if you're not sleeping, it's like you can't try to be PRing that week. Like it's not
right.
appropriate. It's just wild. Yeah, and you were saying for people like X, Y, and Z, and just also like accountability, like there were so many sessions you and I had where I was like, I 100% would not have moved for 30 minutes if I did not meet with Gil. Like
Mm,
it doesn't even matter if all we did was mobility, like it's still movement, and I wouldn't have done it because
mm-hmm.
I needed to write an email or make food or do laundry. It's like there's always something more important.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, it's not that I don't know what to do. It's not that I don't know how. It's just straight up accountability and carving out the time that I say I don't have,
Mm,
but I make it because there's another mom on the other end with the thing that I'm paying for. So that alone is like a whole thing, just accountability.
yep.
Everyone's on board. Ryan's like, see you in 30 minutes. Bye. Don't talk to us.
Yep.
I got the girls, and yours is still sleeping. We're
I,
so lucky.
yeah,
I,
I'm very happy she's still on the
you,
monitor. So,
I can't
um,
believe it. I thought we had
no.
like 20 minutes.
I
So,
know it varies. Like again, like I am in the like you and I are in a very similar
y-
like age
yeah.
timeline right now where one doesn't nap, the other one naps, but it like they're up. It varies. Sometimes 4:30, sometimes 6:30, and I can't time naps and things well. And one of the things that like I, so I talk about imperfect consistency a lot, and that goes with the accountability too. I think of like, hey, like, you know, you got to stay consistent with your workouts, with your movement, your steps, whatever. But like, it's not always going to be at the same time, the same day, because life happens. But like, how can you show up for yourself later in some capacity, so that you are still getting the regularity in the imperfect consistency? And like, to your point with like sleep, Like last night, my 5-year-old woke up because she wet the bed. She never wets the bed. It was so random. And then it's like I knew as soon as she went down, then my other one would wake up. So I was ping-ponging back and forth between them
Oh my
from
God.
like midnight to 3 a.m. And like I still got up. We still had a workout, like, and I took a shower, but
Yay.
with other clients too, like I have moms who like sometimes I'm like, hey, I was like, we're already sleeping. I don't know when she's gonna wake up. But you know what? Life isn't perfect. Let's see what we can
Hmm.
do with sessions too. Like I do that with my kids. My clients who have littles do that with me as well. Like, hey, kids get sick. Kids have to come home from school. Kids don't listen to you even though you tell them like, hey, I need 30 minutes. I'm gonna go do this. And this is one thing that I really enjoy about online coaching and training is that like when I used to work in a gym, and I know you've worked in gyms and stuff like that before a little bit, right? Have you worked in box
Oh
gyms?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
not a box gym. No, no, I never did
well,
big box gyms.
in box gyms, I mean, I have a policy with things like 24-hour cancellation and stuff, but I have some flexibility in there because, you know, as a mom, things happen. You have to make adjustments. And the clients that I do have, we work together on like when those things pop up, right? And I
Yeah.
try to have as much flexibility as I can within reason, for
Yeah.
me. But like in box gym in person settings, it was never like that. It was like you can't if you don't show up, you lose the session, if you do it. And I understand that to a point. But like you also like you have to look at the person and the people that you're working with and like that's where I think online coaching is really special because like for a lot of
Hmm.
people who are either afraid to do in person or just don't have that like consistency like where they can show up every day at this time, it's challenging. So like how do you help
Yeah.
those that do need more help during the am I saying it right? The throes of motherhood or like the
Yeah, I have no
the
idea.
whatever, the chaos that is
The
motherhood when
hard
they're
part.
yeah, yeah, because it is hard to
Yeah,
make
it's
time for yourself. So,
online with you specifically it's wonderful. I mean, you think I could never like meet someone at a gym right now. It would never work for me. Like
yeah.
I'd have to leave 30 minutes early, have that hour session cuz who does 30-minute session? I don't know. And then get back. Now I'm hungry.
Yep.
It's like when you're at home, it's like, cool. Let's set up right this second and let's start moving.
Hmm.
It's like a 10-second transfer of energy instead of like a whole
Production.
ordeal.
Yeah.
It's a whole production. And also too, like when I'm out in public in person, I'm not super comfortable just looking like this. Just
Hmm.
kind of like, like I have to try a little bit more. So now we're adding makeup, cute ponytail, the matching outfit for workouts. Like it's if I'm at home, this is what you're getting. Like I
Yeah.
I'm gonna look
Well,
like this.
you
So
look gorgeous. You look gorgeous,
thank you.
mama.
But you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like if I'm going out for a training session, I'm definitely gonna like try to look cuter, which which does help workouts. Some
Yeah.
like, the cuter you feel, like weird. The workout goes really well that day. Um most of the time. So anyways, just like a whole thing. So
Well, it kind of goes to like what you said about like you go to bar class, right? You go to bar class and like
mhm.
it's so nice to have that other community, like that in-person community. And I believe it's like really close to you too, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
that's again this is why I've never even considered this in my life, but it was in my kids' school parking lot.
I mean, it's great.
That's what had happened. Is I was like, I see it every single day, sometimes twice a day. Because
Yeah.
Ryan and I will try to drop off, pick up, switch, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm freaking go in there.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
in the parking lot. What am I supposed to? That's why I go to Starbucks now because it's in the parking lot, and I'm like kind of an anti-Starbucks person. Not anymore because it's in the parking lot, and I'm like, I used to be like GMO, blah blah blah, freaking tastes like cardboard, and now I'm like, frick, I have a Starbucks like twice a week now, minimum.
Yeah.
Might
Just
be
tr
matcha,
I'm
but
just
like it's in the
I'm just
parking
trying to
lot.
stay upright. I'm just trying to stay upright right now. Thank you very
So
much.
the
Yeah.
dynamics change because my life changed and my kids go to the school, so
Hmm.
yeah, and I can go to bar because it is annoyingly convenient. Like it's like I can't not because it's 50-minute sessions right there. Pop in, pop. It's just too easy,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is wonderful
That
because
is wonderful.
it's something I'm doing because it's so convenient.
But I do think that is nice to have like again, I think like because like I'm the same way. Like I have my online community. I like doing stuff virtually because it's convenient, but it is nice to be able to like put on that fit or just
It
like
is. It
be
is.
with some people in person for a little bit. And I have clients that
Yeah.
do that too. They're like, I need to go do this outside, but then I also want to see you because it's nice to be at home and to get it
Yeah.
done too.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. I know I was like, I don't go anywhere, but yeah, I go to bar and then I get to wear like these cute pregnancy outfits that are all like worky. They're so cute. And I'm like, okay, this is good. Um, okay, wow, we've been
yeah,
talking for a long time.
I know. We've been
I was
doing great.
like,
We've been doing great.
we're gonna do less than 40 minutes. So I have a question before we get off, right?
Yeah.
So you think about like what it took to get here and in your career and motherhood and life, and what would you say, okay, if you were going to write yourself a letter to your younger self,
Ooh,
what is that first sentence going to say?
keep showing up. To keep
Mm,
showing up. I think it's very
keep showing up.
easy in your 20s and even in your teens, but especially your 20s. There are so many different. I don't know about you, but for me, coming from a theater background and then being thrown into like 9 to 5 job, life, I was like, no, I want to be like, I knew I wanted to be a movement professional in some capacity, but in the beginning as a coach, I think the learning part is easy. I think it's the consistently showing up to create and build your business, right? And to
Hmm.
continually um, be working at your craft over and over again. Kind of to your point earlier of talking about like online business building, like for a while you're kind of talking to no one or it feels that way, right? And when you're building a business, when you're honing your craft, it's it's not always good. You're not always going to be hitting PRs every day. You're not going to be getting new business every single day at first. But if you continue to work at it and you keep showing up, you will develop that over time. But like when you're in your 20s, I think it's very easy to be like, all right, I tried for a few months or a year, nothing's happening. I got to move on. But it's like, no, you just got to keep working at it. And
Hmm.
eventually, like, I think that work pays off and like it just that keep showing up will translate into all kinds of different facets of fitness in your job, whether it's a box gym, online coaching, or opening your own business in some capacity outside of the virtual sphere. But that's what I would say.
Love it. I mean, you think about it, it's applicable to like everything we talked about.
Hmm.
Movement, keep showing up. Food, keep showing up. Like whatever, like just keep showing up. Your
Hmm.
business, keep showing up.
Keep showing up.
That's the hardest part.
I know. I know.
That's why we're gonna work together because I need to
Yes.
show up.
Just keep showing
Need
up.
to
And you
show
know
up.
what?
Just need to show
Like,
up.
I don't know about you, but like movement for me is one of the easier things to show up for. There are many other things in my own life where I'm like, I have to keep showing up. I don't like doing it. I gotta do my taxes, but I'm gonna keep showing up.
Yeah,
Like stuff
no,
like that. You know what I
that
mean?
part.
We all
I
have those
fi-
things.
I finally let taxes go this last year. I'm like,
Yeah.
I will pay someone as much money as they want. Like I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried to do it this year. Like I got through January statements and all the things. It took me like 3 hours to get through January, and I was like,
Yeah.
not doing this 11 more times.
Yeah.
February, March. I was like, I can't.
Sounds like insanity. Sounds like
Literally
insanity.
would rather take a nap.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. We
um,
my yeah, I feel you on that. We have a professional now who helps us because we
yeah,
just can't.
good. I mean, you could.
Yeah.
It's just your time now is more valuable.
1000%.
Okay, so Gil, how do we find you if we have questions about anything we talked about or if we just want to connect?
Instagram's the best way to do it.
Okay.
It's at Gilt as in Timmy, G dubs, guilty dubs is what it is.
Yeah, I was always I
So eventually I will change it at some point. I just haven't figured out the right like what I want to live with for a while. But
yeah.
my main name is Weston, and Gil is my nickname. Gil T is my middle initial, and then Dubs was a play on Weston for W. So that's what it did. Back in the
Oh, guilty
day,
doves. Oh, cool.
when you were like Instagram was kind of new hotness, and you're like, I'm just coming up with some kind of name,
Yeah, it's like fun. Yeah, yeah.
and I did a separate like fitness page for a while, but then I was like, I just need to combine it all and just do one. So I'm just
Yes,
keeping it
yes.
my personal for now. So that's what
Yes,
I just did.
everything is one. That's don't try
Yeah,
to do multiple.
it's
It's
too
not
much work.
okay. It's too much. It's funny. I was just always going to be Missy Bunch, and there are apparently a lot of Missy Bunches. Like it was so weird when I first did my handle. I'm like, I can't claim Missy Bunch. Like who else is named that? It
I
sounds
know
like a
that's
name that I made up, and I couldn't. It was taken. It was like Missy Dot Bunch was taken. Missy all the variations of Missy Bunch were taken, and I was like, okay, I'll just throw my favorite number on the end, and I guess, and now it's been whatever since 2011 years.
I was wondering, I was like, was it 2015 that you started it? But like, no, okay,
No,
favorite
it's just
number.
I love that number. I love fives. I love 15s. My birthday's on a 15. My sister's on a 15. Um,
Well,
when I was
that's what you had to have 3 children, right? So you could have 5 people in your family, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
I
like
got you.
fives. I like fives. I don't know why. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, five. Fives and 15s. Okay, so thank you for being on the show. It was so nice to have you. I'm so excited to share you with the world. And
Yes.
we will talk offline
Awesome.
and people know
Perfect.
where to connect with you. So I will
Yes.
see you outside of this.
Thank you. Have a good one,
Thank you for
girlfriend.
being here. Okay,
Yes.
bye.
Bye.